Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome. On this happy Tuesday afternoon or evening or early evening. Welcome in, everyone. My name is Angelina Tucci, and we're going to do a little bit of news today, but most importantly, we have an interview with one of the politicians, or future soon-to-be politicians, hopefully. So there's my bias already. An interview with one of the politicians, or with one of the candidates for Fontanna mayor, right? She's going to be coming on stream very shortly, but yeah, so I hope everyone's having a fantastic Tuesday afternoon. I sure am, as usual. Be sure to hit like on this video, subscribe if you are not subscribed. We have a good one coming up. All right, so as we're waiting for Jaws to come in, let's pull up her Instagram page, because I think she's pretty cool. And I'm sorry, I'm sweating. It is a hot day in Southern California, I'll tell you what. All right, thank you for bearing with me. We are being boomer as usual. But okay, let me open up the Zoom meeting, and then that way we can wait for Jaws to come in. I need to start my camera. Oof, we are looking busted. Okay, start. Whoops. All right, so we will just wait for Jaws to come on in here. I need to change the audio real quick on OBS. I'm getting better. All right, let's see. Zoom meeting. Perfect. All right. Dismiss. We do not need AI companion. Okay, so yeah. Hope everyone is doing good. Like I said, my bias is already going to be shown here because she's a Bernie Sanders endorsed candidate, and who am I to argue with Bernie Sanders? This is probably one of the reasons why I got into politics as much as I did, was because Bernie. Oh, okay. Jaws is in here. Let me let her in. Here we go, everyone. Hey, Jaws.
Hey there. Give me
Hey.
1 second to make my background look not blurred.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, perfect. You got cool background.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
Are you at the HQ?
Yeah, I'm at HQ right now.
That's cool. I really
You would love it. You would love it if you came out here. We have a whole podcast section.
No way. That's super cool.
Which is here. But they moved the desk. Now we have a couch because we also have like a We have a couple of things. We have the People's Podcast, which is run by like supporters that just like want to talk about issues, and then I have my own podcast that's coming out pretty soon.
That's cool. That's cool. That's great. So anyways, welcome in, Jaws, everyone. She's running for mayor of Fontana, so that's pretty cool against Aquanetta Warren, which is crazy. We've been doing a lot of research on her, and I reached out to her, tried to see if she'll come on stream. We'll see if she answers, but
Ooh, nice.
yeah, yeah.
That would
So,
be great. That would be great.
trying to do my due diligence as a local journalist, and get all sides of the story. Even though I'm feeling a
Well,
little bit biased already, but it's okay.
well, the thing is that that's the beauty of journalism. It's really just about ensuring that everybody has the opportunity to get to know everybody.
Yeah.
And, we have with the online media culture these days where like folks just get one soundbite or it's a one-sided story. This is the moment. Take the opportunities to talk about what you've done for these communities and be on the record for things that they call out, say, oh, those are lies. It's like, look, they're only lies because you say they are, but come out for on the record and say that you're not going to turn these warehouses into data centers, that you're not going to go and turn these into processing immigration centers for ICE, that we're not, like come on the record. If I'm
Yeah.
lying, come on the record and say that those things are not possibilities in your local administration, right? So I believe like, hopefully they come online and they just set the record straight because that way we can hold them accountable for the things they say.
Yep. Yep. That's what democracy is about. That's what
Hmm.
I'm trying to do, as a political science person. But anyways, let's get more into you. Are you so like I'm trying to start a thing like you're from the IE. Are you currently live in Fontana because you're running for mayor there, right? Did you grow up in Fontana? Did you grow up somewhere else? Tell me about your upbringing.
Of course. So actually, I was born in El Monte, California,
Hey, nice.
to my parents who are now in their late 70s, early 80s. But when I was around 13 years old, we moved to Fontana as the economy got really hard in the San Gabriel Valley area.
Oh
Our
wow.
parents found hope in purchasing a home here in Fontana. So in the middle of my freshman year of high school, having to start from scratch in Fontana was definitely hard, but I've always been a very positive social person, and I always think new beginnings mark a part of your life that you will never look back in and say, "Oh, I regret not doing this." I was like, no, I take these opportunities to ensure that I reinvent myself, right? I'm new. I'm not experienced going to school with different types of cultures
Yeah.
and ethnicities. So even just from the San Gabriel Valley, LA, East LA area to coming to
Mhm.
the Inland Empire was a complete culture shock, right?
Yeah, I can
And
imagine.
so so high school came out here in Fontana, made some of my best friends, some of my most amazing memories. Like some of my closest friends now,
Mhm.
Angelina, are my vice principals from high school. My
Whoa.
lunch lady.
Heck yeah. Heck
That's what
yeah.
I love about Fontana was the tradition, the close-knit community that you build with people who moved here, who live here, who want to grow old here. And I've met some of those people and that are still part of my life to this day.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up in Rancho Cucamonga. I'm still living in Rancho. We're neighbors essentially, and like I always grew up hearing Fontucky stuff like that. But
Fontucky.
I know. I'm sorry. I had to say it.
No, it's true though, but that goes back to the whole notion of like what Fontana used to be, which was a
Yeah,
lot of agriculture with oranges
yeah.
and grape and like vineyards and things like that.
So there's been like a lot of development. Like I don't want to ask how old you are or anything, but about what time period was it that you guys moved out here?
2003, 2003,
Ah, okay.
2004. So one thing I remember coming out here, funny enough, my best friend from elementary school moved here way before me. When we were in sixth grade, I found out that she was moving to Fontana. We both cried because, we were best friends, right? And who would
Yeah.
have known that I was going to move there 2 years later, right? And she ended up going to Bloomington High School. I went to Kaiser, but we were still really best friends. But when I would visit her when I was in junior high, I always knew that I was arriving to Fontana because of the freaking truck on that stick, right? I'm like, well, look at that transformer up there. Like, That's how I knew I arrived in Fontana. You knew that there was a trucking destination for truckers who travel interstate across the country,
Yup.
and you knew Fontana was that staple because of that, and then you knew that you had arrived. So I've seen it grow exponentially when it comes to warehousing.
Yeah.
Houses that used to be on Harupa that were selling plants, had goats, different things are all gone.
Yeah.
And how they were bought out reminded me of the movie Up,
Oh my
like
god,
just
yes, the Disney movie
slowly
Up.
but surely.
Yeah.
And they were trying to buy all these houses, millions of dollars, and still some people have stood their ground, but it's been really hard seeing a piece of our community gone, right? But
Gosh.
they have built these warehouses faster than they can build a church.
Yeah.
That's how
Wow.
intense it was
Wow.
here in South Fontana, at least, and
And
seeing the development of housing. But Fontana has grown really, really, really fast.
yeah.
I and I love that, but I don't like the fact that there wasn't a plan for how fast it would grow and how the economy would balance itself out.
Yeah. Yeah. So like from my experience, it kind of seems like a lot of the development in the northern part of Fontana was a lot of housing,
Hmm.
like I don't want to say big houses, but like good family size houses, 3, 4 plus bedrooms, right? Or about that size, maybe not the biggest of yards, right? But still family housing. And then, I mean, I know that there's some warehouses up there because, like, of course, along the 210, right?
Yeah,
Um,
number 15, just to like,
the
yeah. So
15,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah, of course. Is it more that the warehouses ended up on the south side of Fontana?
I think that the warehousing that is in North Fontana, actually, which is fascinating to me, they're
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily in Fontana proper. They're around the cities, right? Like Ontario, Rancho, or Alto, right? In the
Mm-hmm.
north part. But we became the gateway as Fontana saw the overdevelopment of warehouses. When there wasn't enough room anymore, they're now expanding to other cities in the Inland Empire. And it's so what happens in Fontana is affecting the entire Inland Empire region. I don't know if you know this, but I am the director of the Sierra Club San Gorgonio. Well, I'm the
That's
first ever
cool.
chapter director for Sierra Club, which is like a mini executive director.
Yeah.
And so I've even learned even way more than I would want to about the impact that Fontana has had in the Inland Empire when it comes to the overdevelopment of warehouses. Now, the thing is that Fontana had been an industrial corridor for warehousing, industrial warehousing back in the day because we did do, metal for
Yeah.
ships for the World War, and we were
Yep.
known as that the working class, all that. Totally fair. It developed the working class union jobs, okay, but we still had a balance of nature, right?
Yeah.
Now we're seeing that nature is being rezoned and sold to the developers that are not necessarily building community that is affordable, that is accessible, and that still preserves nature.
Yeah.
For example, the warehousing that developed in the southwest side of Fontana
Mhm.
is a little bit too much. I mean, half of these warehouses are empty. Okay.
That's
Now,
crazy.
some of these warehouses are automation. They don't
Mm.
have that many employees because it's all, storage for shipments. And out of the 300 plus warehouses that are in Fontana, less than 10% are unionized.
Wow.
And one
Yeah.
of our biggest leasers that has leased out the Goodman building that is about 600,000 square feet is Walmart Distribution. And
Mm.
these are the things a lot of people don't know. And like again, I don't want to say I don't want jobs. I want all the
Yeah.
jobs in
Yeah.
Fontana. I want people to thrive, but I want good union paying
Yeah.
jobs so that folks can afford to live here. I'm not going to say that I can destroy any warehouse because I can't. They're being built. They have been built. But what I don't understand is why is it that when you have a for lease sign in a corner about maybe not even 2.2 miles away from a school
Mhm.
that says, do you want to build, imagine yourself building a gas station, a car wash, or a drive-through.
Okay.
There's no like, let's do a cafe, let's do a pizza parlor for kids to come and go come after school. Let's
Mhm.
do a little plaza so that you can come and get good meals for lunch for the administration, for teachers. There's no vision.
Yeah.
It's like the standard. They build a gas station that has toxins. As we know, gas stations have big pollution, big toxin, right? In front of schools.
That's
And they had
terrible.
the bare minimum that they approved that CEQA and his SQAMD was like, yes, you guys barely meet the requirements, barely by the hair,
Mm-hmm.
the bare minimum. These are kids going to school.
Yeah.
They're getting exposed to all these things. And it's like, when is enough is enough? And like I said, a lot of people are so great that Fontana has been becoming so beautiful. And you ask them where they live. Yes, they live in the north part of Fontana.
Yeah.
I love the north part of Fontana.
Yeah.
A lot of our supporters come from the north part of Fontana, but they also know the struggle that it is in the south part, where just even getting across the bridge takes
Mm-hmm.
about an hour. The streets are always constantly being remodeled and redone because the trucks drive on them.
Yep.
And there's a disbalance. And I'm not saying that I can fix everything, but what I want people to know is that I'm aware that this is not the way of life. And there's ways that we can transform a city by really talking to community members and
Yeah.
getting their opinion of what they want to see. Truck routes, bus routes, so that kids can go to school when if they're going to the new academy that's being built on the north side of
Mm-hmm.
Fontana and they live in the south side, even though they get free bus passes, the schools are the district is not providing buses to take them from the south part of Fontana
Yeah.
to the north part.
Yeah.
But there's not enough bus routes. So it's a lot of
That's
things,
crazy.
Angelina, but
I know.
I am aware. I can't fix everything. I know that there's a lot of beautiful things in this city, but the most beautiful parts of the city are its people
Yeah.
that still believe that this city can be the city that gives them the American dream.
Yeah. Yeah. So like kind of I mean, me as an outsider of Fontana, right? Like I said, I've been doing a lot of history of Fontana, trying to look into it, the big players of, development and politics, right? As an outsider, it almost feels like the city of Fontana was not being developed for the people living there. And
It wasn't.
it wasn't. Okay. Yeah. It's just like I didn't want to make that
It,
assumption, but it's just like,
The people that live here, Angelina, people that live here have lived here for decades. They are the athletes, the cheerleaders, the innovators that come back to teach. They come back to live here. They raise their kids here. Their kids play football. There's baseball, soccer. This is a very traditional town. They pride on their sports. And I am astonished that those same people who are some of them are leaders
mm-hmm.
don't care about the air that their kids are breathing as athletes.
Yeah.
And that blows my mind. I was a big nerd in high school. I was captain of the debate team. I was in
Sick.
mock trial, and we always had a fundraise for our buses, fundraise for anything that we needed. We didn't have a booster club or anything like that. But I always knew that sports was something that was a gateway for success. We have so many athletes that made it out of here to the NFL, to the MLB, all the most beautiful things.
Yeah.
But if that's something that we really appreciate from the city, then why are we continuing to allow pollution to destroy these kids' respiratory,
Yeah.
lungs?
Yeah.
Some of these folks have asthma, and people have moved here from LA to these new houses in the north. They're in their mid 30s, early 40s. They're developing asthma.
Yeah.
I mean, like this city, I said, was built quite quickly, and you could see signs. Because the thing about a city, they can tell a story. They can tell you that they're doing the work and that they're doing everything that you want them to do.
Yeah.
But the problem is when a city doesn't even allow you to go have meaningful conversations and hold you accountable to just, hey, my street light is broken. Hey, my block needs a stop sign. Hey, this is and that. But you can't even attend the meetings, right?
Wow.
So they
Yeah.
just build this narrative that we're doing the job. You asked us for this. And it's like, we didn't ask you for 300 warehouses. We didn't ask you for a new parking lot structure. What we're asking you is for better jobs,
Yeah.
a better walking community that we could all have access to, that
Yeah.
our streets are fixed, that our lights are fixed, and that we are able to thrive in our local city, that our schools are thriving, that money is not being spent on things we don't need. It seems to be a situation where they're censoring our freedom of speech by not even allowing us to attend meetings. The meetings are 2 p.m., Angelina.
2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Jeez.
Not even students who are faced
Yeah.
with, signing up for the military at 18 can even attend these meetings. Not even parents who are working two jobs just to provide and pay rent. You mentioned those big homes in the north part of Fontana.
Mm-hmm.
Those are multi-generational homes
Yeah.
because people can't afford a single family home with one salary now.
Yup.
So you have
Yup.
all these people working, commuting, You think they're gonna make it to a 2 p.m. meeting to talk about a budget that the city's gonna approve that you have no say in?
Yeah. No. No. And it's about, I'm sure it's about deterring as much people as possible, making it as hard as possible. And you're right, it is a form of ugh,
Yeah.
censorship. Yeah, and it's
Even online, we can't even comment. All the comments are closed on
that's
all the city government
crazy.
website. Most of the elected officials that are on social media, including the mayor, don't let us know. Nobody comment on anything. Why? Because they know that the public opinion is very strong. People do not feel heard. And when they go on in public and say, well, this is what you wanted, this is what we're doing for you, we're doing what's best for you, it gives you the Matilda effect. When you saw, like Trumbull tell Matilda, I'm big, you're small, I'm smart, you're dumb, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh my
That
gosh,
is
you're
not,
so
that is
right.
not, that is not the way to live.
No.
That's not okay.
No.
And look, I know politics is always going to be dirty, it's always going to be bad,
Yeah.
but we are going up against, it is a David and Goliath type of moment, right?
Yeah.
The only reason is a David against Goliath is because when you're an elected official, you always come with the power of knowledge, of internal knowledge. You know the budget, you know what's coming down the pipe, you know who's who, people have put you in situations. And imagine going up against somebody who has been there for over 16 years
Yeah.
as mayor, let alone 4 to 6 years as city council,
Yeah.
build those relationships that I have no access to. And it's okay. I don't want to have access to corporate elitists, people who don't really care about people's, if they're going to be able to afford healthcare, if they're going to be able to pay their bills, or if they're going to be able to have food
Yeah.
on the table. I don't want to have friendships like those. I want to have friendships with the people. And I'm telling people, I'm not perfect. I am a Latina. I am a daughter of immigrants. But
Mhm.
one thing I do hold dear is that I am proud to be able to sit here and say that all the things that I did my entire life were advocating for communities across the country so
Mhm.
that I can come back here and bring that back. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I do believe that I am the only candidate in the western part of this country who's running for mayor who
Mhm.
got endorsed by Senator Bernie Sanders, putting our campaign on the map, let alone I'm the only candidate in the Inland Empire. Not saying that none of my other progressive candidates in the Inland Empire are not amazing. They are.
Yeah.
But I do believe that the work that I've done throughout my entire career advocating for immigrant communities, for rural communities, for all communities that have been disenfranchised, oppressed, and silenced
Mhm.
is one of the reasons why our campaign now is put Fontana on the map nationally.
Yeah. 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 All of that. Oh my gosh, we got to get into the Bernie stuff, but all of that is, yes, amazing, I can get behind that. And so, yeah, it's just been so much development, so fast, right? And just this whole culmination of like really these like legacy figures, essentially calling, no, I don't want to say, calling all the shots and pulling all the levers, but, have significant amount of influence. And one of the questions I was going to ask you is, but you kind of answered it already, is, yeah, all of these connections, clearly you're an outsider. You've never run for office or anything else, right?
Before.
You
I
ran
have.
before? Okay.
2012, I ran for school board here in Fontana.
Oh, heck
And
yeah.
again, it was for the whole notion of like environmental impact. I was running on an environmental platform, and
Mhm.
it was because I was really upset that I had met people in the Midwest who were so advanced than we were when it came to being resourceful, being environmentally conscious,
Yeah.
and coming back to a place where we're fifth worst like pollution in the world and people don't want to believe it. I have people telling me that's not true. We have Santana winds. How can we have pollution? And I'm just like, wow. And I want to hug them and be
Like
like,
the
it's
wind
gonna
doesn't
be
just blow
okay.
everything around,
Yeah,
you
like
know?
it's just, we don't have any borders for air, but okay.
Yeah.
But I think that the when you say that I'm an outsider, I'm only an outsider to those who don't want to lose power
Yeah.
because I am an insider for the people.
Yeah.
I do know what it feels like to not know when your next meal is gonna come from. I know it might not look it right because
Yeah.
people judge, but I do know how it is to know if you're gonna be able to bring milk home or pay for gas. I've seen people lose everything because they're one sickness away from going into bankruptcy. I've seen people have to get those shark loans
Oh my
because,
gosh,
you know,
yeah.
they want to be able to give their kid at least a birthday. You know, I've seen people make decisions based on the fact that instant gratification is the only thing that keeps people living. A lot of people not even planning for a future anymore.
No,
And that is the
it's really
saddest thing that
bad,
I've
yeah.
heard from people. And that's why I say I'm an insider with people because not only have I been organizing for over 15 years and been in
Mhm.
the community advocating, but in the last year, in like almost a year that I've been campaigning now, I've been talking to people and our platform has been formatted to fit the needs of our community.
Yeah,
And it's super simple. People want three things. They want to be able to know that they could afford to live.
yeah.
They're going to be able to make sure that their kids and their family is taken care of health wise.
Yep.
And they want to make sure that they're set up for success for the future generations. And it's not a hard thing to, it's not even a political thing. It's
Yeah.
not about being Democrat or Republican. It's about being a human being
Yeah.
that cares enough about people and
Yep.
what they're going to go through.
I mean, honestly, an American, that's the American values that I
Yeah,
genuinely subscribe to. We have this great country, freedom to pursue whatever we want, and
exactly.
when we have these giant corporations, these big, like special interest groups, calling the shots essentially, it's frustrating. So, um, you know, not saying that being an outsider is a bad thing. From my perspective, being an
Yeah,
outsider is a great thing. Like Bernie Sanders. Like we always talk about the 2016 election with Trump being the populist, the
yeah.
outsider, anti-establishment. But Bernie was there, and I swear, if he had the support, we could have had a whole different life. But that's just my
And
Bernie
look,
rant.
listen, I got asked that question recently when I was doing an interview for an endorsement for a Democratic club.
Yeah.
And they asked me, why do I think, like, basically, why did Kamala lose? Or, like, why are we in this situation, right? And I honestly, as somebody who's been in the background
Mm-hmm.
for a very long time, just to be completely transparent, I've worked in over 55 campaigns in my entire
Dang,
career,
that's great.
coached candidates on how to run for office.
Mm-hmm.
I was a state director to a presidential campaign in 2020. I was a state director for a nonprofit civic engagement organization in 2016
Mm-hmm.
called Mi Familia Vota. So I was in Nevada. I was in a battleground state. I was in a battleground state. I always say that I'm not battle born, but I'm battle tested, right? So
Yeah.
when I was there and I saw it on the ground, one of the biggest things that we need to do as a party, and then we're talking about party politics, is that we need to unify and say sorry. Say sorry for being ugly to each other. Say
Yeah.
sorry for trying to, because our enemy, we have a common enemy, and the enemy is our oppressor who is racist, who doesn't believe in humanity, who has destroyed our constitution, who has destroyed whatever our founding fathers fought for.
Yeah.
That is our common enemy
Yeah.
because we are fighting to restore our constitution, our due process for our immigrant communities, and for that everybody that has fought for so long for civil liberties to be able to have their voting rights, and to be able to have the ability to marry who they want to marry,
Yep.
to be able to protect their own bodies and be able to have justice, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is our common enemy, is that person who is taking all of that from us. And we have forgotten as a people on the ground that there's more things that unite us than divide us.
Yeah.
And that never happened in the party. And nobody said sorry. Nobody has said sorry. And that is why in 2016 we lost.
Mhm.
That is why in 2024 we lost. We're in this situation right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And so for me, that is one of the reasons, Angelina, I decided to run because I want to restore that humanity and that hope into my community. This isn't about party politics. This is about doing the right thing for people to understand that it is about their future. It's about seniors having their social security and
Yeah.
their resources and whatever they need to be able to live the end of their life good and healthy. It's about young people to believe that they have a future, and it's about ensuring that the working class doesn't get erased.
Yeah. Yeah. Cuz I don't know like how the working class is going to work in Fontana and also live in Fontana if
Yeah,
you
big
know.
time.
Yeah, I mean it is the multi-generational uh living that unfortunately is the what's making it that a reality. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But man, so Bernie Sanders. Can you tell me like the whole just briefly the process of like getting his endorsement? That because that to me like
Honestly, I'll be honest with you. Every single day I still ask myself, how did that happen? Little old Fontana, right? Honestly, from my background in my career, I was a national field director for Progressive Turnout Project. I managed 17 states and 1,000 staff.
Dang.
I managed a presidential campaign on a state. I was state director for Tom Steyer in Nevada. Done a lot of work in my entire life. I worked for Move On. I've always worked in progressive politics. I worked with labor for my entire career,
Mm-hmm.
advocating for immigrant rights and everything in between. And I do believe that there's probably people in rooms that I'm not in that are advocating for me because that's the only kind of reasoning that I found. Obviously, I was endorsed by Run for Something. I was endorsed by Our Revolution. Those are applications that I submitted as a candidate.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously stand with the progressive values of working class people, putting people first. I
Yeah.
don't take corporate money, all that. But I think it's been the proven advocacy work in my tenure and career in this field that set me up for success. And I've done my due diligence. I do the work. I work my job. I spend the extra hours trying to fundraise money.
Mm-hmm.
I spend the extra hours trying to meet people where they're at, having meetups. I have meet and greets at 6:30 in the morning at
Wow.
coffee shops. I go late at night and I go see my interns who are part of pageants or they're graduating high school or
That's great.
I try to be out there. So
You're
it
going
made me
above and beyond when you're not even candidate. I mean, when you're not even elected official, and the actual elected officials are going above and beyond to avoid having
not
interaction.
even that. I think now they're actually doing things and people are like, oh, well, now they're doing this. I'm like, that's because now they know that their job is on the line. And
Yeah.
I'm happy if a school can get $15,000 for their uniforms because I'm running for office. I love that. Make
Yeah.
that happen. Give back to the community. That's what your basic job was in the first place. But I do think that the Bernie folks maybe looked into that and looked into my record and looked into my advocacy work for years
Nice.
and
Yeah.
then they were like, well, maybe let's. I was thinking because he endorsed 61 candidates. I'm like, what if I was number 61? Like in my mind, right? But
Yeah.
I'm very honored to be one out of three mayoral candidates in the country that were endorsed.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, to me, it's telling us, the population, that the Inland Empire, every city in the Inland Empire is important. And, like, we, as residents of the Inland Empire, can't afford to not pay attention to politics. Like, obviously, there's going to be people that, I'm not going to say you have to know everything, but it's like, we're important. We're economically vital to the country. We can't be letting these, we can't be letting people with interest ahead of our own go first. Like, we need to
Yeah.
have the residents making it, the residents' voice first and foremost. But yeah.
That's democracy. That's what blows my mind sometimes is that people go. I mean, I love it. I quote candidates that go straight to running for Congress. I was in that film, Knock Down the House, even for like a minute, but like I was in that film. I helped a candidate that was running for Congress, but I've seen candidates go from not being elected to running for higher office. Love that. If that's what your heart tells you, go for it. Don't be shy. If you work at a coffee shop, if you work at a drive-through, if you are a teacher, if you are a doctor, if you're a nurse, run for office. Please, if that's in
Yeah.
your heart to do. But local office matters because sometimes the statewide could be super progressive. I mean, look at California. We're
Yeah.
one of the most progressive states in the world.
Yeah.
And sometimes local areas don't get the resources and then they get mad. Like, oh, well, what does it matter if we're like progressive if we don't get the resources? Well, look at your local electeds. Those seats are nonpartisan. But
Mm-hmm.
if you dive deep, you'll see that those folks are the ones that are the bottleneck to the resources that you deserve in your community. I
Yeah.
mean, we pay so many in property tax, we pay so many in just sales tax for us not to have a good shaded dog park.
Yeah.
I
Like,
mean, like they
yeah.
have a dog park that they built. Okay, this is what's fascinating. I thought it was so funny. I held a meet and greet at a
Okay.
dog park to highlight that we deserve more. But it so happens that I attracted a lot of great people that they brought all their dogs and delivered the best park in the world. But the problem is with this park, it doesn't have shade,
Yeah.
right? The ground is all dirt and is all rock because that's just the way they built it. The trees just planted, so they're not even grown yet. So there's no
Mm-hmm.
shade.
Yeah.
So say you want to take your dog for a walk at nighttime because that's the only time it's cool, and especially in Fontana it gets hot.
Yeah.
Hot today. They don't even have night lights, like
My gosh,
park
that's
lights,
dangerous. Yeah.
and it's all underneath electrical wires. And it's like
Great.
I mean, Google research, super simple Google research, is anybody safe under electrical wires? And like it'd be like no.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you think about city planning and who builds these parks, they do it just to shut us up. Oh, what do you
Yeah.
want? I gave you the park that I
Yup.
promised.
Yup.
I give you what you wanted. It's like that's the bare minimum. But then you see renovations that we don't need right now. We have a lot of unhoused people that are dealing with drug addiction and
Oh,
problems, and we need more resources for them. Yes, we help 6 people, but we have 100 more that we need to help.
yeah.
And we have people that are, you know, wanting better jobs in the community. They're gonna go work in Rancho. They're gonna go work in LA. They're gonna go work somewhere Riverside or Redlands or other
Yup.
places.
Yup.
And then sometimes people want to go out and have fun with their friends, and there's just not a walkable nightlife. And so there's two city versions. Either you want to be a huge city with sky rises and like like you want to have big office buildings and big metropolis,
Mhm.
or you want to be a small town feel where everybody's connected. And you've
Yeah.
seen those in Claremont, you've seen those, and even when you have a little bit of like Redlands or other places, and that's where people go. They walk
Yeah.
around when they see small shops, small boutiques, that was thrift stores, like vintage, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We have to really talk to people. And I really wish they were talking to us instead of telling us this is what you want, right? After they've already
Yeah.
built it, it's like you didn't even talk to me. It's a very
Wow.
toxic relationship.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, if anyone's going to be the toxic one, it should be the people.
Exactly.
But.
Exactly. It should be us being like, well, we don't want this, we don't want that. But I mean, I want to do a participatory budget. I want people to have input on where, how we should spend our resources when we can. But I have a feeling, Angelina, I have a feeling that when I do become mayor, it's gonna be one of the hardest 10 years of our lives because we're gonna have to undo a lot of damage. There's a lot
Yeah.
of restorative justice that needs to be done. The
Yeah.
community doesn't trust government. They don't trust the way that we're addressed. People get silenced, people get, I always get threats that, you know, people
No.
fear for my life because,
No.
you know, if I speak too loud or I'm challenging the beast, the status quo, the insiders, that they'll
Mhm.
do whatever it takes to destroy just to keep their power. But if the power comes at a cost, I always say, and nothing that is worth fighting for is ever going to be easy.
Yep.
And people always gonna have opinions. If I dance to a song that I love, or if I speak Spanish, or that I'm a stand-up comedian, or I'm a kid for immigration, or all these things, or I
Yeah.
only focus too much on one, ethnicity. It's always you're not gonna be able to please everybody.
Mhm.
But one of the hardest parts about being a public servant and an elected official is that comes with the job. And the job is to do what's best for the people. And how do you do what's best for the people? You talk to the people to ensure that you're meeting them where they're
Yep. Yep. Start with listening, and I mean, like, I'm sorry, I keep going back to the 2 p.m. meeting. It just blows my mind. First
at.
off, who the hell wants to have a meeting at 2 p.m. at any job? That's
Nobody.
that's me. I'm waiting to clock out time.
Yeah,
But
nobody
like,
wants to have.
just like, man, it's so yeah, it's like definitely need to raise more awareness. And I mean, if your campaign, if you don't win, which I think you really have a good chance,
Thank you.
because the current mayor, I was looking at the numbers of votes for every election, and I mean, she's not gotten as much votes as the previous years, right? So it's like either people are becoming more aware, despite the amount of trying to, keep everything under wraps. People are becoming more aware. People are more connected with social media, and it's like, man, at least like you guys, the whole progressive movement that's happening there, like you guys are on it, and that's what's going to bring in people. That's what's going to inform people. I mean, that's how I found out about you is I saw your page on Instagram and I was like, "Oh my god, this looks so cool." And then I was like, "Bernie Sanders? No way."
So let me tell you though, I do want to put this on the record because I do want
Yeah.
to make sure that everybody knows. So right now, as it seems, I've been doing this for a year, and the reason I started early is because nobody has to ask me twice or three times if I really care about Fontaine. I care so much that I've given my life to this cause and to
Mm-hmm.
this move. We built something in the last year that people have not been able to build in the last 15 years as I can remember. And I'm very proud of that. We have multiple people running for different seats. They're going to be running on our slate with me, and they're all progressive. They
Yeah.
all care about the community. This isn't about politics. This is about putting people first and giving the people the voice that they have. Now, that being said, as of now, there hasn't been any candidate that has a progressive track record, that is a Democrat, a progressive Democrat, a Democratic Socialist, and has been endorsed by a U.S. Senator, which again, the first time in history for the city of Fontana
That's
that
crazy.
any
Yeah.
candidate has ever been endorsed by a senator, a
Yeah.
U.S. Senator. So there's nobody at this point that can come in and challenge me in this particular to go one-on-one versus Warren, right?
Yeah.
As we've seen, they're gonna probably throw a wrench in there because they cannot, beyond me, have a one-on-one race because a one-on-one race, we win, guys. We win.
Yeah.
Like needle, close case closed, it's done. We win because the community knows it's time for change. Nobody should be in power for more than 2 terms
Yeah.
at the most.
Yeah.
I'm running on term limits, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Secondly, if anybody does run and claims to be progressive, to claims to be a Democrat, we know that is a lie because we've had these conversations. We've talked to anybody who's potentially wanting to run, and they're ensuring that I am the one candidate. And the reason I say this is because this is how progressives end up losing. True progressives, I'm not even going to say because there's some fake progressives out there that are
Oh
taking
yeah.
corporate money, being endorsed by people that they shouldn't be endorsed by because we have choices. We choose who we get endorsed by and who we don't get endorsed by.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody decides to run, it'll be to split the vote so that Warren wins again. It happened in 2022. And if it happens again, we'll know why. And I'm letting folks know now,
Mm-hmm.
pay attention because there's always those folks that they cannot with themselves, do the right thing. And the right thing is that for me and Warren to go one-on-one to ensure like, hey, if you're gonna work hard to earn the votes and the trust of people, do it. That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what I'm doing to the best of my abilities. But again, as somebody that's been in politics for over 15 years of her career, I've seen it all and I've seen how it works. And that's the only reason that I knew that I could do this now. It's now or never because I don't want to take a missed opportunity and not tell people how it really is. Politics is hard,
Yeah.
campaigning is hard. When you believe and people and the issues that we're fighting for, it's a clear path
Yeah.
that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And like I said, I don't know all the answers. If I meet you and I think that you're going to be great on helping me figure out policy for trucks,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about it. If I meet you and you're good at talking about finances and talking about budgets, I'm going to talk to you. Let's sit at the table.
Yeah.
This is how we build our government run by people for the people.
Yeah. Yeah. So really, it would be rebuilding. Again, I don't want to make a comparison to New York City Mayor Mamdani, but we saw that he was like, this budget is out of control. There's a
Yeah.
lot of waste, fraud, whatever. And he was honest. He was like, we're gonna figure out what it is and then come back to you guys. And so like now the latest is the budget is balanced. And it's like, man, I
Like imagine doing the right thing for people. Imagine giving free daycare. Imagine having jobs that go to people to fix what we need fixed instead of all these private entities, private friends,
yeah,
the people that baptize your child. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and that's the thing. Fontana has 200,000 plus people.
Mhm.
Like, we're almost as big as San Bernardino City.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so excited because to be in the same lane as somebody like Zora Mamdani, whom
Yeah.
I got in. I when I started my campaign, I still didn't know about him. I just knew that he had won a primary, and then I got into it. I was like, oh my God, like we're on the same page, we're on the same wavelength and
Yeah.
same generation. And I realized that this is it. It is now or never. People have all the power.
Yeah.
We have the power. I remember seeing this picture where it's a table and all the rich people are on top eating nice dinners, nice steaks, like, some people. And then at the bottom is like people just bending over of like,
Yeah.
we're, but imagine if we stood up, that
Yep.
table would fall to the ground.
Yeah.
And that is what I hope. If when Fontana comes out and votes this election season,
Yeah.
we win this election. It's going to be one of the most pivotal moments of our lives. It will send shockwaves across the United States that small towns, medium-sized towns that sometimes go unnoticed.
Yeah.
Like if you put your mind to it, nobody has ever to start over again. That's all I want, Angelina. I want people to come into Fontana, and if they want to run for office, they know that it can be done
Yeah.
and then they don't have to start from scratch.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, because the politics that are there now just seems like it is. I don't know. They all are holding arms, even if it is behind the back. They're it's crazy, and it's I get it. It's supposed to be nonpartisan, or at least like have the air like cover of nonpartisan, but it's clearly partisan. We have it's I don't know. I don't know. That's something to talk about later, but yeah, it's crazy. So, um, if you have time, one last question. How has it been, like going out there? And I'm sure you guys have been doing door knocking and stuff. With you being being endorsed by a progressive person. Endorsed by someone who says, endorsed by someone who unfortunately gets negative rap for being socialist or whatever. Which is just really having more government funding and appropriately funding, things. Um,
Oh, right. And all
do
that,
you
yeah.
have you gotten is Fontana as conservative as maybe we think it is, or as red, or it's like, man, I don't, I just, I the
It's,
when
I think, yeah, I think I know where you're going with this. And I
yeah,
think the number one thing to know is that Fontana is, it could be described as conservative in many ways because of the leadership. I mean, technically 4 out of the 5 people in city council are registered Republicans.
yeah,
Our county supervisor is a registered Republican, and
yeah,
our current mayor has uplifted voices like that of Charlie Kirk, right?
yeah,
And you think about the fact that our community, most of the businesses you see are run by immigrants.
yeah.
Most of the community here is Spanish speaking, bilingual speaking. We have a great Punjabi community. We have
Mm-hmm.
we have such a beautiful diverse culture here, but it hasn't been able to shine because of our leadership. And you can see it even in city events. People sometimes get shocked that like Thursday there's going to be a cover band for Mana, right? Like, wait, what? I'm like, but if you think about it, like Mexico was playing that day too, right? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
how do we incorporate our true authentic self to feel like we belong, right?
Yeah.
And when I talk to voters and whatever party there are, because sometimes you go to a house and the guy is Democrat but the wife's Republican,
Mm-hmm.
and you end up talking to both of them. What I found that is really not about social issues when you're a local government official.
Nice.
It is about day-to-day services, constituency services that people want. The fact that the investment in small businesses actually happens to be an investment on small businesses.
Yeah.
Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Green Party, Working Families Party, every single political spectrum you think
Yeah.
do not want more warehouses.
Yeah. So
Every
why
single
do they keep
person, it
giving it
doesn't
to us?
matter if you're Republican or Democrat or whatever.
Yeah.
If you got COVID and you had a respiratory problem, COVID did not pick and choose who was going to get sick,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So the thing is that people are seeing that this isn't about a political issue. This is about when people have too much power, they forget about how to really address the concerns of everyday Americans.
Yeah.
Because again, when the government cuts healthcare, when the government cuts food stamps, when the government cuts all these things, it doesn't check what political party you're in. It checks just where you land
Yep.
and where your finances land.
Yep.
And again, that is the thing that I say when you go to the doctor, you go to the hospital, and you want to ensure that those nurses are being taken care of, because when you go in there, it doesn't matter what political party you're in. If you're sick and you have gallbladder stones, or you are having a stroke, or you're having, a diabetic shock, or whatever it may be, they don't care about your political party.
No.
They care
Yeah.
about making sure that they save your life.
Yeah.
So again, these are the things that connect us. And being a mayor is nonpartisan and should stay nonpartisan,
Yeah.
but it should act nonpartisan, because right now it's
Yeah.
very partisan, and that has divided our community, because
Mm,
it shouldn't. It's supposed to be about day-to-day services, so that everybody has a fighting chance to achieve that American dream that was promised.
yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. All right. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I'm
I
sure
appreciate you
this
so much.
wishes. Any shout outs or final words you'd like to say? I mean, I definitely want to have you come back on stream if you're down for it.
Oh,
I
all the
feel
time. Let's do it. Come to the office and we'll do it
yeah,
live
I
here.
need
It'll be
to.
so amazing. Yeah, you'll love it. There's a great setup. I think the biggest shout out for everybody, I'm so proud. I'm gonna be running on a progressive slate called Fontana United. So a lot more comes soon. We have a lot of amazing candidates that are running for office.
Hmm.
They're all from Fontana, obviously, but they're all progressive, strong, people first candidates.
Yeah.
And just, read between the lines, follow the money. It's definitely
Yeah.
something that I always tell people. And I know that I have a lot of experience in politics and all of this, but when I came back home in 2023, just to be able to support my family and help my family, it dawned on me, if not me, then who? If not now, then when? It was like a Hallmark movie. Like Sida comes back home not knowing that she was gonna run for mayor this Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh my god.
it,
I'd watch that
it was
movie.
really something of a shock,
Yeah.
like, are we all really going to do this hard work to go against somebody who's been in power for such a long time? How
Yeah.
many people told me, "Oh, Jaws, oh, good luck, hon. Like, that's gonna be hard." And at the end of the day, they don't call me Jaws for nothing. You know what I mean? I am Jaws
You
like
got
the shark,
Jaws.
and I always go in. I
Heck
go in
yeah.
to execute what I need to, no matter what they say, no matter how many people judge me. I just want everybody to know that I love you and that I'm going to do whatever it takes to ensure that your family, can thrive and,
Yeah.
and see and have hope.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, I think one of the things politics needs back overall is authenticity. That seems like that's what you're all about. You're just
Thank you.
100% authentic Jaws from Montana. I'm from Fontana, not Montana. Damn, sorry.
Look, listen, we're all going to go to Montana one day. I heard it's really nice.
Hey, it looks
Thank you
cool
so
there.
much, Angelina. I
No, thank you
appreciate
for
you.
coming on,
And
Jaws. I really appreciate it. You're welcome back on anytime. I'm trying to get more of the coalition on, so help you guys out any way I can. Oh,
well, once
if
we announce the slate, then they'll come on the show with you.
if yeah, if I want to help out with your campaign, how can I?
So Jossie for Fontana.com, also the FontanaGirl.com. Both of them go to my website. But also if you want, we have our Instagram. We have a link to volunteer sign up.
Yeah.
We're going to be launching an amazing experience this summer. I cannot wait to share that with everybody.
Heck yeah.
But if you're free this Thursday, we're showing the soccer game Mexico versus South Korea here
Hey.
at the headquarters in
Uh-huh.
South Fontana. And you can find that information as well on our Instagram and Facebook. And of course, I'm always available through DMs if people have any questions. And I want to meet you where you're at. So tell me where you're at, and I'll go and set up a coffee time for you
Wow,
all.
that's great. That's great. Thank you again, Jaws, for coming on. I really support you. I wish you the best of luck for real, not artificially. I genuinely think you do have a chance. So
Thank you so
I'm
much. I
here to
appreciate
support.
you.
All right, all
Thank you.
right. See you later. Peace
Bye,
out.
everybody.
Bye. Okay, everyone. That was Jaws Sida, running for mayor of Fontana. I was so pleasantly surprised. Bashana in a boxing, bye bye. Uh, yeah, it was good, right? She seems like again. Shout out to Tessa Lynn Hodge. I enjoyed my conversation with her. Jaws seems just as grassroots and really caring, and that's what we need in politics. So we'll see. Her election is in November. We're gonna keep keeping up with the campaigns and the different people. Like I said, we'll see if we could get Mayor Warren on. Maybe yeah, Stardust City Hack said best of luck, Jaws. Also, Jay Work, class war is upon us. Sorry, I didn't acknowledge that during the interview, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I don't know, man. Like I don't want to put too much attention on the guy that burned down the warehouse allegedly. But it's like that's the kind of reactionary actions we're seeing from the working class who is, overworked at their limit, whatever was going on in his life. I'm not going to say it was all work related, but it's like, there's serious issues that need to be addressed. And it's either address it like this by, having such a great group of people. I can't wait to go check out the HQ. Um, but yeah, we could do it like this, or I don't know. I guess more people are gonna get inspired by, Luigi Mangione and all that, and take their whatever action they see fit. So it's crazy. It's crazy. But it seems like there's a big movement behind Jaws. So we support her. Definitely friend of the show. We'll have her back on. I want to get more of the people running for Fontana City Council. But we will get there. We will get there. All right, everyone. I'm gonna leave it here for today. Just because it is later in the day. But we will be back later this week for sure. If not tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry. We're trying to figure out streaming schedule. We're trying to figure out a lot of things. So but just like Jaws said, we're working at it. And rolling up our sleeves. And if no one, if doing it because no one else is gonna do it for us, right? We gotta take those moves, take those opportunities as we see them, and make lemonade, right? All right, everyone. Let's play some outro music. Oh, but it's not connected. Um, I had a great time streaming right today and talking with Jaws. So be sure to comment on the video if you haven't already. Be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I'm, as trying to get more conversations with different politicians, different people. Like I had no idea Jaws was so involved in politics. That's great. It's she really. I have high hopes for her. Right? If she gets elected, I definitely could see some Mumdani moments happening. But we'll see. But anyways, until then, thank you for joining me, everyone. My name is Angelina Tucci. We had Jaws Sadia on. Thank you for watching. Peace out. Have a good one.